Hey everybody, it's Adam from Wargaming, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to do decal transfer sheets. So decals tend to give some people problems. They're flimsy, they're hard to manipulate, it's like very outside of the realm of what you would normally do with a paint and a brush and some glue. So it requires other chemicals, and it requires just a certain level of knowledge. But now, at the end of the day, it's actually not that hard. So we're gonna hopefully make it really easy. We're gonna show you how to put some decal sheets on a nice Land Raider that I finished. So here's my Land Raider. I've got all the pieces kind of magnetized and kind of in bits like that, but essentially it's done, right? You can put it all together. And what we're gonna do is throw on some decals just for some nice finishing touches. All right, so there you go. There's that completed Land Raider. So here's the stuff you're gonna need. So you're gonna need your model. You're gonna need two things. I use this brand. I use Microsol and Microset. Basically, yeah, it's like what it says on the bottle. One's for setting the decal, and the other one is for softening the decal. Well, both do the same thing. As per their description. But I mean, one I kind of use as as the base, and then the other one goes on top to kind of soften it and make it adhere around all the details. So there you go. So you're going to need your Microsol Microset. You need your paintbrush to brush on those solutions as well as manipulate the decal. You're going to need your decals. Now they come out of larger sheets, so I just cut these out with my hobby knife, and then I have a little plate of water there for you. All right, so now last thing you're going to need, because this is kind of the stepping stone, this is the foundation for everything, is a little bit of gloss varnish. Okay, so there's my Humbrol Clear. That's what I use. I use it straight through the airbrush. And so if you want, you can use your airbrush too, or you can just brush it on. So let's clear up the workspace and get our gloss coat down. So here's our tank, and here's our gloss varnish, and then all we're going to do, and you can use the airbrush for this if you want, for a nice smooth coat, is we're just going to take some gloss varnish out of the bottle there. And I think I want one of my decals to go right here, and the other one can go, let's say, right here. Beautiful. So let's leave that to dry and come back in a moment. So I found my decal sheet here, and there's actually one more decal that I've decided I want to use. So while that clear coat is drying, let's cut out a new sheet. It's very simple. Yeah, I want to take this heavy fire support symbol, because this is a Land Raider, no less. And so we'll just cut that out. Beautiful, simple. Now the reason you want to cut this out is because you don't want to just dunk this whole sheet in water, because you want to save some of these to later to use on the rest of your army as you slowly make progress on your troops and all that kind of stuff. So you don't want to waste any decals in the process. So there you go. So I've got my fire support badge cut out, and I added some more gloss coat to this side door here where I'll put that decal. So there you go. We got that one, we got our company symbol, and we got our chapter symbol. There we go. So cut those out, and we'll be right back. All right, another thing we can do now that we have them cut out, and while we're waiting for the gloss coat to dry, is actually remove the decals from the paper that they are based onto. And so what I'll do is just shove these in water. Okay, there it goes. And after about 10 or 15 seconds of sitting in there, maybe a little bit longer depending, you'll see the decals actually start to remove themselves from the paper. So there you go, that chapter symbol right there. Sorry that it's yellow on yellow, but you'll see it's removed itself from the paper, and it is now separated. So I'll pick that up so you guys can see. There it is. So that decal is separate there. So I'll leave it in the water until I'm ready to use it. There you go. All right, we're back. So the gloss varnish has dried. We have our decals removed. Our solvents are ready. And what we're going to start with is Microset. Okay, so take this and stick a brush in there. and get a little bit on the area you want to apply the decal to. Okay, and just get it nice and wet. All right, pretty good. Great. So now we have the set in place. Let's pick up the decal with a brush. And now what I'm going to do, actually, let me put this napkin here. I'm going to dab some of the water off on the napkin. And I'm just going to set that in place right there. And now with the brush, you can just get it in the perfect spot. I'm just going to remove some moisture. There's a little too much moisture here. So it's just kind of sliding around. So there. You can use your brush to really push that around. Great. Okay, so now let's do the fire support decal right here. There's a big red one. Okay, got some of the moisture off. Now we'll try and center it right in the middle of the door. Beauties. Push around with the brush. Now I need to level this a little bit. Does that look straight? Not quite, huh? That's a little bit better. Okay. Dab up any of the excess right there. And now let's grab this guy. The Luna wolf head. Let's get that chapter symbol right on the front. A little bit offset. Now I actually don't like that it's yellow, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to paint on top of it black, which I'll show you guys after. And that's actually one really good way to like freehand, get a free-handed look, is to like just take a decal and then paint. Oops, I split it, busted it up. There it is. Let's push that nose just a little further over. Come on, Wolfie. Turn a little bit more. Oh, was that too much? No, that's pretty good. Okay, great. So we have the 1, 2, 3 decals on there, looking good. So now we're gonna have to wait. I usually leave this kind of stuff overnight. So leave it overnight to dry, and then come back the next day. So ideally, you know, you're doing this on, let's say 20 infantry all at once or something like that. Or yeah, you do a whole tank. You could do tons more decals on this thing, but just because I'm just showing you guys, we'll stick with that for now. So you put those on, leave it overnight to dry, and then we can start doing stuff like weathering it, painting on top, and doing some damage effects and all that kind of stuff to really make it like a part of the model. Because if you look at it right now, it's like so different from the model. It doesn't look like it's blending in or anything. It's just like it looks kind of just like a sticker stuck on top. So we want to make sure that it really blends in with the model. So yeah, so that's what we'll do right after this. One last thing that I forgot, we actually want to take our microsole and put this on top. And I usually wait a couple minutes and put this on. So give that decal a little bit of time to just set. Give the microset a little bit of time to dry off, and then just come in, and this is a decal softener, so this will get rid of any wrinkles and really make it look smooth as it sets into place. Great. So now that's on, let's leave it to dry overnight and then come back and weather it. Here we are back the next day, and they're all dry. So they look really slick. Like they're on there, and you know, you can't tell. Like it's flat on, and it ain't coming off, and it's blended in nice and smooth to there. So there you go. So now what we're gonna do is I do just want to make this one black before we weather everything. So I'm just gonna take some black paint and my brush, and I'm just gonna trace it and paint black over top. So very carefully. Just outline this guy right here. Just trying to keep my lines nice and straight. They did make a transfer sheet with these wolf heads in black, but that was a long time ago. So I have a few that I put on my repulsors, but yeah, they don't make them like they used to. All right, just keep tracing the outlines. Make sure I keep those eyes prominent. All right, now fill it in. Beautiful. So this is kind of the easy way to just take a decal, give yourself a free-handed look. You can highlight this too. I probably will do a quick highlight after I do 2 coats, so it's nice and thick and black. Get rid of all the yellow that's kind of showing through the brush strokes. So there you go, you get the idea. You don't have to watch me finish this off. I'm just going to do a second layer, and we'll be back when that's done. And there we are with a couple highlights on there, and that's all done. So there you go. So you can add those little effects there and kind of give it that more freehand painted look. Now I know it still looks a little uneven and stuff because like parts now glossy and parts now painted, but we're going to even that out with a nice matte spray at the end. But now let's like weather these up a little bit. I think that'd be fun. Just give kind of a nice, kind of like we said before, I think these kind of like stand out now like a lot compared to the tank. They're way too clean compared to everything that's on the tank. So let's weather it together. And now this, I would actually do all my weathering at the same time, but since this is a model that I came back to just for the tutorial, there's already like weathering on this tank. And so I'm going on top, and we'll do a little bit more weathering on top of it. So here we go. So let's leave that sit there. First thing that we're going to do is I like to also do a little sandpaper and just like do some scratches on there. That's one thing you can do. So let me grab that actually, and we'll be right back. We'll do some sandpaper. I'll show you. We'll just dirty it up with some airbrushing, and then we'll do some rust strips on top. So oh, and maybe some sponging. So there you go. So let's grab all those things, and we'll be right back. Okie dokie, so here is the sandpaper. So let's pull off just a little piece there. And what we're gonna do is grab this decal. Let's take off all these little extra bits. And all right, get up nice and close, and we'll just actually do some little scratches on there. Because what you'll do is, just go very lightly. You'll actually just remove the decal a little bit. All right, so you can go as subtle or as intense as you want on this. keep that one fairly simple. There you go. So there you go, nice and simple. Just gets a little bit of scratches by just sanding off a bit of the decal. So then, what you can also do is grab your sponge, and I just have a little pluck foam sponge here from, let's say, a figure case, and grab some brown paint. I like to do 2 layers. I like to do like a brown and then a silver to kind of show like paint chipping, but also like chipping right down to the metal in successive layers. So there we go. So we'll get this guy going and just a couple practice dabs there until it's looking the way that you want it to look on the model. And we'll just get a little bit of that paint chipping going on there. So right on top, we'll do it right on top of this guy too. Gonna blend them all in. So actually here, let's do that dirt, and now let's do a little bit of airbrushing. That paint's no good. Let's get a paint that is good. We'll get this nice brownish red that I use for my dirts for this army. Oh, there's the compressor. Okay, we'll just airbrush on top. A little bit over here. All right, now it's really starting to blend in. It looks like part of the model as opposed to like a sticker that's stuck on top. So there you are. So there's the airbrushing bits. Now let's get that last little bit of sponging with the silver. So we'll just cut off the bit of the sponge that has the brown paint on it. And let's pour out a little bit of bright silver. I use Vallejo. I just use my airbrush paints for that. Great. And I'll just go right on top of the brown that I already did. Great. All right, sweet. So there we go. We got the Lunar symbol there. We got 2 decals on the side, and they look perfectly blended in. Now let's just do one more. I'm probably doing a little bit too much on these, but let's just do one more. Let's do the rust streaks that you guys see. We'll just get some dripping down onto the tank. So here's the Vallejo model wash that I use for doing like simple, easy orange washes and rusts. So there, let's just take, say, that one, and just like, let's say, a rust strip is like dipping down from there, coming out of the exposed chipped paint there. All right. Ooh, there it is. Now you can use your finger to thin them out a little bit if you want. Come back in. Doing multiple layers of this really helps sell the effect. Just streak, 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 streak. All right, easy. So there you go. Something like that. Awesome. So there you go, guys. That is putting decals on, blending them in with your weathering, and there it is. So that makes a nice, solid tank. So the last thing you would do is just matte varnish that. to protect it, checked all the work you did, as well as make sure there's no more glossiness left over. And so very, very easy. I don't need to show you guys how to matte varnish it. Just take your airbrush or take your matte paint, just paint it, like, you know, just paint it on top. So there you go. That's how you do decals. That's how you do them professionally. Just messing around. That's just an easy, simple way to take your model to the next level, using the stuff that's already in the kit. You don't really have to pay money for decals unless you want to get crazy specialized ones, but make sure you use that microsol and microset. Microset going down first, microsol on top, to really get them to seal down nicely. So there's everything you need, guys, for decals. Yeah, I guess if you like that video, jump down there and hit subscribe and like. And hey, if you really like that video, we would love for you to support us on Patreon. So go to the video description below, and for as little as $1 a video, you can support everything we do at the channel. Painting tutorials, terrain tutorials, new miniature games, battle reports, all that stuff is in there. And so we would love if you guys could help support us with that. You also get cool perks like discounts at other retail stores, and hobby supply stores, stuff like that. So guys, check that out. And that's all for now. We'll see you at our next encounter.
Like a monkey in a rocket on his way back home. Okay.